flying around a field and like landing at will, and it looks like tactical. I guess it's black and it has like shoulder pads and shit. And they were calling it an Iron Man suit. But then I think about those guys in Dubai who are jetting around.
Yeah, and they're like powered wingsuits.
I saw that this kind of leads me to my next little topic, and it's about like I wonder if like if there are intelligent aliens out there, like did they engage in this kind of fuckery? Like, is this a thing that's unique to the mammalian brain on this planet? Is this a thing that's unique to just the primate brain on this planet? Is this a thing that's unique to just the Homo sapien, that we have this thrill-seeking thing?
I hope
and this,
they do engage
and this
in fuckery, and that's
this,
how they
this
find
thing that
us.
wants to win.
Like they don't come in these giant spaceships from Independence Day. It's just a couple of space surfers zipping around on their little boards. Like,
dude, I told you not to put that much kryptonite in there.
Dude,
like, shot us all the way to the Milky Way. Fuck.
If they were like a super advanced civilization and like some paper boy like got off course and showed up in his like hovercraft, like if I were that paper boy and I noticed a civilization that I knew I could dupe, I would just go down there and be like, and I've come to speak with your leaders, and like anybody on that guy's home planet are like, they're talking to fucking Marvin? Are you kidding me? Marvin? He's the paperboy loser. He can't even do calculus in his head. Like, and then
if you think about
run
it,
shit.
that
You know,
scenario, if you think about it, that scenario makes a lot more sense to explain Jesus Christ than him, actually being a magical baby that God himself created, right? That it was some paper boy who crash landed here and was like, oh, well, yeah, water to wine, whatever. But like, if you could get me out of here, that'd be great. I really want to go back to my dad. Well, he's God. He kind of created everything. That's how you think of him. He's in the sky. I got to get back to him, though. That's my point. Well, yeah, you guys just get along with each other. Why are you always fighting? Look, peace, love, harmony. Like, this isn't hard. Come on, guys. But really, I want to go back to my father. And then they fucking nailing him up with a cross. And he's like, what the fuck have I got myself into? Like, maybe that's what happened.
What did they think I said?
I told you not to.
So I
furious.
I saw that anonymous. It was someone said WikiLeaks said, but I don't think that's true. When WikiLeaks said something, I believe it more aptly than I would if Fox News said it. I don't think WikiLeaks is in the habit of releasing fake stories, are they? Like, has that ever happened? That like WikiLeaks said a thing and then it came out that no, that's a fabrication or a falsehood.
I can't think
like that doesn't happen. So when WikiLeaks says something, I kind of believe it. But this was anonymous. Anonymous claims that they have hacked information that proves that NASA is aware of the existence of extraterrestrial life. So that was the story that came out yesterday, I think it was.
I don't buy that.
Is it intelligent life? Do we know that?
Flat, like period, after what I said. And, that leads me to have that whole conversation. Oh, did they find one single fossilized cell in a rock that, it's from somewhere? Or did they find, like, the correct amino acid signature? Or did they find, like, a silicon life form that's, like, nothing that would even exist on Earth? Or a radio wave. Did they find, like, a binary signal from another fucking world that can be decoded and read and interpreted in some way? Like, all of those things would be interesting.
I don't think I don't think NASA would hide life in space just because like they
get so much funding if they didn't.
Yeah, their thing is always like we can't even afford to build another $2 billion rocket, and they're like, we need your money, and like all they'd have to release would be like, hey, fucking space lizards, who's gonna become a Patreon? And then they'd be like, oh yeah, well I guess I'll give my fucking $5 a month as long as I get exclusive space lizard pics. Like that's exactly what would happen. That would be their best move ever, is if they revealed there was life, suddenly everybody in the world, for the most part, would be on board with like, all right, well, let's spend a little more money and see what this is,
I would definitely. So I think it would change my point of view on a lot of things. It would prove what I believe, because I believe that there is life. I don't believe there's necessarily intelligent life that's ever been here, and I because of the vast distances. And it's not something that I've come up with. It's just like that's what all the smart people say, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know about that, but like there could totally be some sort of like fishes or tadpoles swimming around in one of those warm oceans that exist in our own solar system on one of those moons, Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there has to be life out there, right? There's just so many planets, so many suns, so much space. There's got to be life out there. There's probably intelligent life out there. I just feel like if there's a 1 in a million chance of a planet sustaining intelligent life? Well, there's millions and millions of planets, so there's intelligent.
There's just enough planets. It just seems like there's so goddamn
but I'm
many.
With Kyle too, where he says, "I don't think intelligent life has come to visit us," and I agree with that.
And vice versa. Yeah, it's just it. Although think about like how quickly we've advanced. Traveling from one continent to another not very long ago was also probably thought of the same way. If you told some guy in the year 80 who just built the Colosseum, this incredible thing that we need you to cross that ocean. No, not that little pond you call the Mediterranean, the Atlantic. You got to cross the Atlantic and you got to go over there to another. No one will ever cross the Great Ocean. Maybe it's just a matter of a couple more hundred years of human evolution. It seems like
I look right now and think, man, the people 500 years ago missed a lot of amazing, cool stuff. The things we're doing now would blow them away. Yeah. That could very well be what people think of us in a few hundred years. That, of course, their cell phones just get bigger.
And then, but then, if that's true, there's the thing. It's like, why has no one visited us yet? Like, are we? And there's a bunch of reasons that could make that happen. Like, maybe there's some sort of Star Trek system, like a prime directive, where they don't mess with little middling civilizations that haven't risen to the level of interstellar travel. Like they don't want to mess with our evolutionary path and throw their baggage on us.
That we're just the most like that. All these other planets that we're discovering of like, hey, that one could maybe have life, I guess, perhaps. I don't know. It's not a rocky piece of shit moon, so there's that. Like, we don't have a sense of perspective because we don't know any living things on any other planets. Like, what if it is that Earth really is, like, the fucking best possible setup for this to have worked out? Like, there were tons of petri dishes all over the place, and ours is the one that's gotten the furthest, like with internet.
That's the cool thing about that
and shit. Like, who knows? That might be it. There's like, is it more likely that that's the case, or that there's super advanced Rick and Mortys out there? Like, both of them seem equally implausible.
That's almost the cool thing about those radio telescopes. I didn't really understand how they worked for a long time, but it's about the spectrum of light that they're capturing, and so if something is a certain color, it's because it's composed of a certain element, and certain element, and so they can tell by looking at something what it's made out of. So they have these things called the planets that are like Earth, that are the correct size, that the gravity would be
Class M
similar.
Planets.
Well, in Star Trek they call them that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like that. Right?
I think in science they call them Earth-like.
Yeah, these Earth-like planets that are that are in that Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
We're all
where liquid water. They're the correct distance from their star, so that liquid water can exist. But there's so many of them. They just announced they found like 15 more, right? Like they're constantly finding them with the new telescopes that they've got.
They don't even need water. What if other forms of life are like drinking methane gas or something, and they're not even like corporeal beings? They're like, in the ether somewhere.
Well,
like
when they
gassy.
talk about silicon life forms, like that's what they're suggesting. But I like the idea that they wouldn't even have like corporeal forms. That they would either be like in some sort of just an energy field. Charged particles of
them
gas.
As lives at first. We'd just be like, oh yeah, our tricorders are picking up weird shit. It turns out those are sentient beings.
Yeah, that happens all the time in Star Trek. They'll think it's like a nebula, a gas nebula, like a bunch of charged gas particles, and they'll be like, "Yeah, shoot them with the proton beam, number one." And they're like, "Oh shit, sir, we killed them all." And it's just like it turns out the gas things were alive.
They call it gassing, and it's sweeping across the country in every high school. Only now NASA scientists are revealing that this gas is actually a form of extraterrestrial life. That explains the extreme high. That is what you're describing, Kyle. Remember if we genocided a whole alien race, like just getting high